Welcome to the Essence of Health Tea Time Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Shayla Toombs-Withers. As a double board-certified family and obesity medicine physician with over 12 years of experience in medicine, I teach motivated individuals how to achieve their desired quality of life while preventing and reversing chronic diseases. It's tea time. On today's episode of the Essence of Health Tea Time podcast, I have a special guest, Ashley Talford. As the founder of Rawthenticplus, Ashley has dedicated herself to promoting holistic health through the power of plant-based nutrition and cold-pressed juices. Her journey into wellness began after overcoming personal health challenges, which inspired her transition to a whole food plant-based diet. This pivotal experience led her to create Rawthenticplus, a brand that stands at the intersection of nutrition and wellness, offering not just cold-pressed juices, but a gateway for individuals to live a healthier, more vibrant life. She now holds a certificate in plant-based nutrition, is a certified juice therapist, and uses her platform to educate and inspire, advocating for the benefits of whole foods and the importance of nurturing our bodies with nature's best. Welcome to the show, Ashley. I am so excited to have you and have you share about this.
Thank you, Dr. Shayla, for having me today. Thank you for that introduction.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Happy to share. Now, and so for the audience listening, Ashley and we met recently at a women's business conference, and we started chatting, about health and plant-based nutrition and all the benefits. Ashley shared some of the benefits that she has gained from eating plant-based. I shared those benefits. And so we knew it was a match, and I knew I had to have her on the show. So Ashley, can you share with us, for the audience, your story and how you found juicing to be a healing mechanism?
Yes, for sure. My journey actually kicked off with juicing. So initially I had received a gift for a juicer, which was a centrifugal juicer. It was a Hamilton Beach. This was around 2013. And this was also around when I had health challenges regarding constipation. So I started to just incorporate juicing and kind of cleansing just to kind of help assist with that. And so it did help me. However, it would only help me treat that remedy when I would become constipated. I wasn't then at that time educated on the benefits of juicing, and I wasn't educated on how it actually could help you, long term, if I had incorporated juicing daily and things of that nature. And so at that time I was actually what I considered to be healthy. I wasn't plant-based yet, but that's when my journey of juicing began. It wasn't until 2016 that I began a plant-based diet. I still had issues with constipation, but I began a plant-based diet, and that's when I began coming regular or whatnot. And so with that, in 2016, I also had a breakout for my skin. So I went back to my trusted juicing and cleansing, and that was to help me to clear my skin. So I would always use it for if something went wrong. So typically that's what we do. We go to the doctor, something is wrong, and we fix it. So my remedy was to use juicing to fix it. But still, I was unaware of all the true benefits of juicing. And so that's kind of what kicked off the journey for juicing. And then I began documenting on Snapchat at the time, my skin journey. And so people began following it. And so from there was birthed Rawthenticplus, and it turned into a juice company. And since then I went plant-based. And so that's when I decided, because I wanted to be educated a little more, I decided to get my plant-based nutrition certificate from eCornell. And then to learn more about juicing, I didn't get that until become certified in juicing until 2023. And that's because my father passed in 2021. And so I wanted to be able to educate individuals even more than just providing them with just juice. If there were specific ailments that they had or health concerns like hypertension, inflammation, diabetes, and all of the things, I wanted to be able to empower the individual to do and recreate juices together based on what they had going on versus providing them with a generalized juice package that was available on my website. And so that's how I became a certified juice therapist, to be able to help and empower others to cleanse and fast and take advantage of the juice therapy that is very beneficial and can be beneficial for everyone. So that's just a little bit of my journey that it changed my life. And so now I'm on the mission to help change others.
That's awesome. And it's so funny. A part of your health journey is similar to mine. Mine wasn't so much constipation, but I suffered from just severe abdominal pain for a
Mhm.
couple of years, and it would just get worse and worse. And it led to me seeing a GI specialist. Turns out, I was highly lactose intolerant and didn't know
Mhm.
it. And it wasn't until, I cut that out and start going down that road of reading more
Mhm.
and learning more and becoming plant-based myself. And kind of same deal, I noticed how great I felt. And once you
Just
get
the
that,
constituent. Mhm.
right, exactly, you can't help but talk about it. My husband always jokes, he says, you plant-based folks are like evangelists, But
We have a cult
you
behind
feel
it.
right, right. You feel so good, you just can't help but, tell
So
people
to
about
share
it.
it. Right,
Right.
right.
You want other people to know that, there's a solution. And it's not a hard solution once you figure it out, that these plants can be healing and be healthful. And then the other part I like that you shared was about your skin and how you went on the skin journey with
Mhm.
plant-based nutrition. Even when I see patients in the office, a lot of times, people will come in with acne or with eczema, especially a
Mhm.
lot of people of color.
Mhm.
And one of the first things I tell them is like, you got to cut that dairy, and we got,
Mhm.
those kind of changes. And
Mhm.
people are like, well, what's that guy? Can't you just give me a cream? And it's like,
Right.
right, like this is going
I
to be
can, but it's
totally
gonna
better
come
than
back.
cream.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I love that you shared those pieces of your journey and how you found that to be so helpful for you. And now, with your experience with juicing, what are some of those common misconceptions that people have, maybe addressed to you about juicing? And then how do you usually dispel those myths?
Okay. I'll say well, I'll give you two probably. For me, the most common misconceptions would be regarding fiber. There are a lot of people that have, there's a myth around fiber and not fiber being into the juice or whatnot. And so, sure, yes, you need fiber. Fiber is a part of your optimal diet and whatnot and optimal health. But while it removes it, juicing alone helps to take that out of it. It breaks it down so that you receive the actual nutrients. And so your body is not working as hard. Your digestive system is not working as hard. So, in lieu of juicing, if you're already consuming like a whole food plant based diet or even a whole diet that's not plant based, you're already getting that fiber that you need. And so, just taking that juice doesn't mean that you're missing out on that, because what the juicing is doing or what the juices are doing is allowing you to absorb those nutrients faster, and it's not requiring your body to work as hard to digest those nutrients that you need and that you can require and that you may be missing out on because you may not want to eat them. Like, eat things you may not want to eat: beets, you may not want to eat bok choy, you may not want to eat eggplant, you may not want to eat broccoli. And so, in order to get some of those extra vegetables that you may not be getting on your daily in your daily diet that you don't want to eat, then you can do that and supplement that with juicing. So that's just one of the common myths regarding the fiber. And then I'd say the next one would probably be the juices are loaded with sugar. So yes, they can be, depending on the actual juice that you have and that you create or that you purchase. It can be loaded with sugar, but the deal is, if you lean more towards a vegetable heavy juice, with just adding maybe an apple or pear, or just maybe an apple with some herbs, maybe like basil or mint and things of that nature, with just a couple of fruit, not with pineapple, apple, orange, and a tangerine all together, then you won't have to have a loaded sugar bomb or heavy sugar loaded juice. There are ways that you can couple with your fruits, where you can cut down on the sugar and it not be specifically loaded with so much sugar. And so when you do like green juices that aren't as fruit heavy and that are veggie heavy, then you're able to get the nutrients and get an actual nutrient packed juice that isn't heavy with sugar. And so even through like the coaching program, now that I started a coaching program, I kind of empower you and give you the information to kind of create like the perfect balance that you need to boost your health without, providing the sugar overload for the juices that you would be consuming.
Right. Yeah. I think for so many people, they hear juice and they think that, the juice they probably grew up with that came in the little jug or the little,
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
package. And, those things are concentrates is what, people don't realize. And
Right.
times, they do. They have high fructose corn syrup or added things
Mhm.
to them, or they're just the concentrated syrup of the juice and not those whole fruits and vegetables like you mentioned. So you're certainly right. There's a big difference in the
Right.
yeah, and even the amount of nutrients that you're going to get far more nutrients in those fresh pressed juices where you've put the fruits and the vegetables in them versus something that's sat on a store shelf. So,
Right, because you're getting actual fruit and vegetables, not the processed things and additives and purees. Because even when I see juices on the shelves in the stores that will say puree raspberry or something of that nature, and even then it becomes like a smoothie.
right.
So, there are, like you said, it's concentrate, and so it's not raw in the form of a fresh fruit and vegetable being pressed from a press machine.
Yeah, yeah. And then I like that other idea you mentioned about a good way of getting those other nutrients that, may not be so palatable. I often, because I work with folks who have a lot of metabolic issues, so I see a lot of high blood pressure and diabetes. And so I
Mhm,
commonly tell people to incorporate beets into their diet because,
mhm,
we know beets are
mhm.
natural anti-inflammatories. And so people are always like, oh,
I don't
beets.
like
Nobody likes beets, very few people.
But
And
they're
so
very amazing in
they
juices because I
are.
have one of my number one sellers is sweet beet, and so people love
Yeah.
it, and
And
they're
beets
they're
have some
always surprised.
amazing health benefits.
Mhm,
When I trained for Ironman triathlon, I pretty much lived on beet. I would use a powder, a beet powder, and it's just like dried beets turned into a powder,
mhm,
put it in
mhm.
juice or a smoothie because it's just, what really helped my recovery, helped to reduce my own fatigue and inflammation. And so you're exactly right that you can, use a juice to help you still get those nutrients that may not be quite as palatable if you were just try to, eat a bowl of it.
Right, and the good thing is too, also that you mentioned that like the juices, you're able to create certain juices and have recipes that will allow you to target certain, you know, have certain benefits that you can target. So, like you said, you were doing a triathlon, and so that will help you as an athlete to be able to, work with recovery because you don't want to eat those beets. I mean, although there are a variety of pickled beets and all those things, like people don't like beets, but there's something about having it in juice form and it can be tasty and palatable, and you're able to, do it that way. So that's
Yeah.
a good benefit as well.
Yeah, exactly. If you're frustrated with your weight, taking more medications than you like to, have been told that you are at risk for the development of a chronic preventable disease, or just are not feeling in the best of health, then I'm talking to you. Why? Because you're tired of fat dieting. You know it's time for a change and you want a sustainable plan to improve your health. If you have found yourself at this place in life, well, I have developed a program that's just for you. It's called The Essence of Health, and it's your prescription for transformation. My goal with this program is to give you the tools needed to create sustainable lifestyle changes within a group coaching setting, along with one-to-one individualized coaching to give you a personalized path to health that's just for you. The benefits are priceless, so join today. Head on over to eohcoaching.com to learn more. The essence of health is in you. Now, with the individuals that you've coached or even customers that you've encountered through your juice business, what are some of those health benefits that you have found or that folks have shared with you that they've gained?
Generalize before I go into like coaching clients. Generally, people pretty always say that they get more energy, they have, better digestion, they say that they have glowing skin, weight loss. I've had somebody say just from doing like a 3-day cleanse, saying that they've lost 12 pounds. Now, of course, results vary from
Yeah.
person to person, but those are just some of the general things. But I recently was working with someone who has neuropathy, and so they did a cleanse or whatnot, but they're incorporating juicing as a daily habit into their life. And so she has recently reported stating that, the tingling has, stopped. And so that's just with, incorporating the juice daily and eliminating some things from her diet that she was consuming. And so I think it's just powerful, just the juice therapy and being able to heal just by doing certain things, incorporating certain things that you would normally do on a normal basis in order to heal. As for me, I have a green juice, try to have a green juice daily. I'll do like a simple 1 day fast. And just by doing that, I've maintained like my weight. I am able to not be constipated any longer, regular. And so that's one of the things that keeps me going. So when I forget or if I don't do it, I'm like, okay, well, you don't want to be constipated, or you don't want your skin to
You
break
get this
out,
juice, right?
so let me get this juice, or let me start back incorporating them, or do a fast or something. But for me, it's more preventative, and so that's just some of the amazing benefits that prove that it can be beneficial for everyone, regardless of what you have going on. You don't necessarily have to do the strenuous cleanse. You could just begin incorporating it a juice a day, and go from there and just see how you feel.
Yeah. Now, what do you put in your green juice?
So I love like everything. So I'm a cucumber. I love kale, spinach, apple. So a typical green juice for me would be like apple, kale, spinach, cucumber, celery. But I love to, like, I recently, like last week, I was on a kick to where I was drinking apple, pear, basil, and lemon.
Oh,
And
sounds
so
good. I
that was
haven't had that
really
combo, but that does sound good. Yeah.
and so it was just the basil, because sometimes basil can be overpowering, but that one, it was just really good. But I try to mix it up. I add, bell peppers, green bell peppers sometimes to keep it green. I've even done broccoli, but I just try to mix it up so that I can have a variety of nutrients, because of course, like, different vegetables do different things, and so I try not to stay on the same produce that I use for myself, so that I could make sure that I'm getting different vitamins and minerals flooding my body.
Right, exactly. And that's, where that rainbow is important. If,
Mhm,
we stick
mhm.
to the rainbow and make sure we're varying the colors of the fruits and vegetables that we are consuming, then for sure we'll get those
Right.
and nutrients. One thing I found interesting too, and once I started consuming more vegetables, is about celery. It actually has a salty flavor
Mhm.
to it,
I'm with
especially when
you.
you juice it. Yeah, it has like a
Mhm,
saltiness to it.
mhm,
And, I think that's one of the things I don't know how you feel, but once you start actually, getting more of a palate for this, you start to notice just those little subtle differences that
mhm,
you never would have thought you would have expected from a fruit or a vegetable.
mhm. Yeah, the difference in eating them, yeah. And then you can taste, like, the difference too, even with you doing, like, if you purchase one in store versus having, like, you making it yourself, you'll see, like, the true flavor of things and be like, "Oh," especially when I have people, like, I've had things at my house and I've done like straight pineapple juice. People are like, this is what pineapple juice tastes like, or even apple juice. Like, if you do like a single mono juice, people don't know what true juice tastes like, what fresh juice tastes like. So if you are used to consuming like apple juice from the store or pineapple juice out of the can, like, it's like life changing. You like never want to go back.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's amazing. I recently, not that long ago, bought a Ninja Cream Mini, and it's one of those, you can make the plant-based
The
ice
ice
cream
cream.
from. Yeah.
Hmm.
And so I learned this from another vegan chef where it's just straight up just pineapples. You put them in
Yeah.
the freezer and then you put it in the machine. And when I tell you it's the
Mhm.
sweetest, like,
So good.
kind of like
Even
a
banana.
right, and it's just
Yeah.
nothing but pineapples, and you're so right. When you just taste that freshness, it's so different from what you would have imagined from the
Mhm.
difference in that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. So now, someone who is new to juicing and raw foods, what advice would you offer to them? And then, if you can just share some tips, even for you, that made the transition for easier for you.
Okay, starting out with juicing and raw foods, I'll say that people always say, "How do you do it? So much you have so much discipline." For me, it was a little bit more easy just because of my why. And so, what I would say is always go back to your why. While I'm not raw, I'm plant based, I would say, like I said, to go to your why. So my why again is like, I don't want to be, I know how it feels to be in the bathroom. And I don't know if this is like TMI, but for it to, you think that something major is coming out and it's just like nothing. And it's just, you're in pain. And so, like, I know my why for that. I know that how it feels to feel good and energized. And so, whenever I have if I get off track, I'm like, okay, let me get back to my why, because also like I want to have preventative health. Like I don't want to have to go to the doctor and they tell me something for me to then start doing it, because I have done that before. And so I think one of the first things is to just understand your why, so that when you get off track that you can get back to that. And then just, take baby steps. I would say that start simple. You can start with just a juice a day. It doesn't have to be a green juice, but just to see what it tastes like. Play with flavors, play with the ingredients and the produce, and see what you like. And just having one juice a day, and you would see, like the difference in terms of how you may feel. And then even from just that one juice a day, then doing like fasting maybe one day a week, just to see how you feel, and then go from there. And so I think that will help to make the journey. And then also like maybe community or some inspiration online. For me, when I first started being plant-based, I remember this girl, she was on Instagram a lot, and she would post food recipes, and she had an ebook. And so when I did plant-based, it was not even because it wasn't because I was constipated, but it was because I was just like, okay, let me just try and see to remove some of these things and see how I feel. And the way that I felt after 30 days, I just never went back. But having those recipes and having that inspiration online to be able to say, oh, okay, I can make this, instead of not having any information and going blind, just having some inspiration that you could go to try to keep you going is helpful as well. Or even someone who's on the same path as you. So maybe, someone like, if I know if I follow Shayla, like, let me go ahead and see what she can share with me to keep me on this journey. Or, maybe coaching, or just a community of people who are doing the same thing, I think makes a big difference. And so it could be a game changer for you. So just taking baby steps, knowing also that the process will be slow and steady, but if you're consistent, it makes a wonderful difference. And then you'll see results if you are consistent with doing it. So that would be my advice.
Yeah, yeah. And I love those tips. And I love that you particularly mentioned finding your why. I commonly coach individuals too with that same concept, because it's so important for you to remember that sole, reason, and whatever that why may be. And even, if that why may change, but really finding your why and keeping that in your mind actually, helps us to stay motivated for a number of goals that we may set for ourselves or for our health. And then, the other key really is progress, not perfection. But, I like that you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned, because even as you mentioned, you didn't, the first time you didn't go from, 0 to 100 and say, all right, I'm plant-based now.
Mm-hmm.
It took
Yeah,
time. Even,
it took, yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
even
although like I
yourself.
did it over 30 days, and then just never went back, but it still took time for me to like
Right, to do that.
commit to doing that, commit to the 30 days. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. But it was the results that I was consistent in doing in those 30 days that I was able to say, oh my God, I feel amazing. I'm going to the restroom every day. Let me just keep this up, because I knew too, I had been, constipation had been an issue, but I also was finding out, that disease starts in the gut. Like if you don't go to the restroom, like where is everything going? And so like that, you just want to remember, like, to take care of yourself, take care of your health, and try to prevent the things that are easily able to occur if you're not doing what you should be doing to take care of yourself, like eating fast food every day, or so yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Because and I know it was definitely a slow progress from even
Mm-hmm.
myself. Like I said, I had developed stomach pains, and then once I figured out what it was, yeah, there would still be some times I'd be like, okay, well, this will be a choose your adventure day. I'm gonna have this ice cream because I like ice cream, and
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
know I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
pay the piper later.
And you can still, and that's the thing too, like there are always alternatives.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I
And
know that
especially
you,
now, this was
yeah,
over, well over a decade ago, but especially now,
yeah.
there's so many alternatives and so many different communities, like you touched on,
Mm-hmm.
books, resources, especially if, audience, if you're listening in here, this is a great place to get started for that motivation. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there's so many resources to help folks get on
Yes,
track.
yes, yes.
Yeah. All right. And so, Ashley, are there just any last things that you would like to share? And if not, share for the audience where they can connect with you.
Okay. So yeah, you all can connect with me. I absolutely love to connect with your audience, the people who are listening. I hope that we've been able to touch on some things that may resonate with you, and maybe you'll begin juicing. And if you're looking to just dive a little deeper into, juicing, then you can follow me on all social media platforms at Rawthenticplus. My website, if you're looking to order juices or cleanses, you can follow my website, www.rawthenticplus.com. And if you're looking for, personalized coaching, if you're dealing with any things specifically that you want to juice for yourself, then you can also book a discovery call with me. Using my Stand Store link, and I could probably send that to you, Shayla, but that's also in my Instagram bio, but that's in my Stand Store. And so you can book a discovery call or just send me a message, and I'm happy to. You can send me a message at ashley@rawthenticplus.com.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and I'll be sure to put those details in the show notes for those listening. You can check out the show notes and reach out to Ashley for your juice and your guidance there with Healthy Juice Cleanse. So thank you
Yeah.
so much, Ashley, for sharing with my
Thank
audience.
you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for joining me today on the Essence of Health Tea Time podcast. Click the subscribe button on your favorite podcast platform so that you never miss a moment of the Essence of Health Tea Time podcast. Check out the show notes to obtain your free tips for healthy living guide to get you started on your health and wellness path. Follow me on social media at Essence of Health Wellness Clinic on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and at dr.tw@EOHWC on TikTok. Interested in becoming a member of the Essence of Health coaching program? Well, head on over to www.eohcoaching.com. The essence of health is in you.